What's for
as opposed to
dinner?
fetal alcohol
Chinese
disorder.
food leftovers, chicken lo mein and spicy,
Now,
chicken fried
what I'm confused about
rice,
here is, so
Coke Zero.
you're not saying that every woman that doesn't know they're pregnant and parties or drinks
It's
a little
just
bit
the
is gonna
rice
give
and the
birth
lo
to a
mein
child
mixed
with
together.
fetal alcohol syndrome disorder.
Spectrum disorder,
Sorry,
yes.
spectrum disorder, sorry.
Correct. I'm not saying.
You're not saying,
No,
so just, there's not an actual number of drinks or whatever. Some people party a lot and don't give birth to a child that has any kind of fetal alcohol problems, correct?
that's correct.
You mentioned something and you made a statement yesterday that your diagnoses went to show how Mr. Horner came to be the person he is. Is that an accurate quote?
Yes,
Um, But in this case, let me just ask you, a lot of stuff that we had in this case was covered by pretty much all the diagnoses you gave. For example, you said he wasn't able to handle stress, right?
he has a great deal of difficulty handling stress.
Because of his autism, that's what you said.
The combination of his autism, his trauma history, PTSD symptomatology,
But that stress we're talking about, that stress, you mentioned, that was FedEx causing him that stress, because you said they changed his routes.
no, that would be too simple an explanation. I mean, the architecture of his brain is such that these kinds of stressors cause him to become very emotionally dysregulated.
Well, let me ask you again, the stress that you referred to, and you listed out, was something to do with his work-changing stress, correct?
Yes,
And it was something to do with his girlfriend at the time and whatever was going on with their child.
that was one thing,
So I'm just giving you some examples. That was something else,
yes.
correct? And that essentially,
Hannah Horner
that
Tuttle.
these were all things that were happening in his life. Right? These were life stresses for him.
Yes,
And I'm just going to ask you, don't you think that some of those
Good.
life stresses, for example, the things you were talking about, maybe were caused by doing drugs and partying all the time? Some of those life stresses?
I don't think that doing drugs helped the situation, but no, I don't believe that these stressors were, well, they were life stressors, that, I don't know that they were caused, I mean, they're life stressors that come up, you know, the postpartum depression, the financial distress, but his inability to cope with those is more biologically based.
So you don't think that the fact that he had problems at his work, with his girlfriend, and his life had something to do with potentially work ethic?
No, I don't.
Okay? You don't think it has anything to do with the fact that he's going out and purchasing narcotics and using them and partying on the weekends?
I don't know anything about narcotics, opioids. He used other things, but the drug use, in my opinion, the drug use was an effort to kind of modulate his mood and his anxiety level rather than just wanting to go out and party.
So you're saying he wasn't using drugs just to get high. That's what you're saying?
Well, that was probably part of it. For example, the cocaine use was because he was sleep deprived. He was also using those bangs, which have like 300, but very high potency caffeine.
He needs the death
He was
penalty.
using those to stay awake.
Either way,
And
he's
of course,
gonna
to
get
improve his
tortured.
mood because he was very
Just
depressed.
So whatever he had, whatever was going on in his life, that made him use drugs.
That's overly simplified. He did not start to use drugs until he was 18 years old. So that in and of itself is somewhat unusual. I think that definitely the substance use began as part of an effort to fit in with the band, and fit in with people that he was hanging out with. So there was a social element to the substance use, yes.
So again, going through this, you indicated yesterday he wasn't able to handle executive functioning, and what was that because of?
Well, he has poor executive functioning. It's not, he can't handle executive functioning,
All right,
but
so-
his brain, again, that frontal lobe, prefrontal cortex,
Such bad
Um,
posture.
he has trouble, in my opinion, because of the combination of the autism spectrum disorder and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, PTSD, all of these. He has trouble with decision-making, judgment, shifting, what we call shifting cognitive sets. You know, when something happens, he has difficulty thinking about alternatives. That's executive function.
And that was, so then you said he had poor impulse control, and that was because of his depression?
No, poor impulse control, that's part of executive functioning, but also he has severe ADHD. He also, those two are the major reasons.
And you said something about it was hard for him to tell the truth, so he had to create this fake person, and what caused that?
I don't think it's as simple as there's something that caused it. As I said yesterday, I think that Zero gave him the ability to confess and distance himself
Zero's not
from
even real.
the horribleness that he